What is going on, all you fellow nerds? I am Brian, here for Nerd Nation and Apocaflix Movies, and today I am joined solo, just with Jacob Bartley. Today, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. You know what? I think just like the Padawan podcast, we need our superhero or villain names for this show.
Oh.
So we got to start that. We can't think of them right now, but we should come up with our names for those.
So yeah, it's just the duo of us two today. But we are going to talk about two major topics. First one is going to be about the Mortal Kombat movie that we are seeing coming in 2021. And the second, the devastatingly horrible news that Spider-Man is no longer a part of the MCU. But we're going to start off with Mortal Kombat first. We know that Mortal Kombat is a very popular video game, obviously, and has that, would you say, cult following of a movie? Or, I don't know.
Yes, so it kind of has a guilty pleasure cult following of a movie. I loved the first Mortal Kombat movie so much.
I have seen that, actually, if you can
it.
believe that, with all the movies I've not seen. But yeah, so they are bringing it to the 2021 year. We are slowly seeing things pieced together. We know that James Wan is going to be executive producing it, which is a big deal because he is a hardcore horror guy.
He is. I mean, he produces a lot of stuff.
He does a lot of things, but he does a very good job in the horror genre, or bloody, gory, scary, whatever you want to go. So it might be kind of perfect for him. But he's not directing it. Directing is Simon McQuoid. But it is his first time directing, from what I looked up. So
I think he's directed a few commercials.
Yeah, I think it's very minimal in the
but
directing.
Who knows, man? Like,
that can mean anything. I mean, this guy could be.
I bet you he loves Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, so I'm sure they're not going to just give something like this to some random schmo. But yeah, I am not a avid Mortal Kombat person. I don't play the games. I know of it. I know fatalities and all that stuff. You definitely are the complete opposite.
Yes. I am a huge Mortal Kombat fan.
Yeah,
just overall.
Yeah, you definitely brought it up more than a few times.
I challenged Jake to watch it on the old school Make 'em Watch It show, which is now, you haven't seen what?
Yeah, which we're slacking on. But yeah, you excited for this one?
I am-ish. Okay, look, am I excited they're making a Mortal Kombat movie? Hell yeah. I've been wanting them to do this for so long. The mythology is ripe for a cinematic storytelling. It really, really is. There's so much to it. It's that people just think of the video game and the fights and the fatality kills, right? And apparently we're going to get that in this movie.
That's what we've heard.
Sounds like it's going to be rated R.
I don't think it can be anything other.
But there's also so much mythology to it. It's almost like, it has a similar, like, Lord of the Rings type mythology where there's so many different creatures, so many dimensions, so many worlds, and all this stuff going on. But, maybe, I want to say, maybe Lord of the Rings mixed with Doctor Strange or something like that. It has that type of mythology where there's magic involved and different dimensions, all these creatures, things like that. So behind the violence and the killing, there's that. And, James Wan producing doesn't get me too excited. It's a plus, but he also produced the first Annabelle film, and he's produced a lot of horror films that aren't so good, but a lot of them that are good, like Annabelle Creation. So that doesn't change whether the movie's going to be good or not. I don't know anything about the writer or the director. Apparently, it's first-time feature films for both of them, so that kind of scares me. But I gotta say, I really like the cast so far. So we have
we're slowly starting to see them.
Makad Brooks as Jax, which Jax is kind of like a he's not like a forefront like A-list Mortal Kombat character. From what I've assessed, it's always been Liu Kang, Johnny Cage, Sonya Blade, Raiden, Sub-Zero, Scorpion. Those are like the A-list Mortal Kombat characters. So it looks like they're focusing on some lower level, but not too low. And then I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Tadanobu Asano. He was one of the Warriors 3 and 4.
Oh,
in the 4 movies.
okay. I know exactly.
The Asian actor. And he's playing Raiden, which they're doing a... it doesn't matter, but Raiden's traditionally just a Caucasian white guy. And they're changing, which is... I mean, this guy's great. It's perfect. I like this because Raiden and Liu Kang have the potential to have this relationship, and maybe they'll have some history because, they're both Asian characters.
Yeah.
And then I have no idea who Sissy Stringer is. She's playing Melina. I know who Melina is. She's the evil twin of Katana. So that's going to be interesting. Another example of they're not going for the A-list Mortal Kombat characters. Favorite casting of all, Ludi Lin as Liu Kang. I wanted him to get with the Marvel character, what's it called? Master of Kung Fu. Shang-Chi. I was upset that he didn't get that, but I think the guy that they did get is going to do a good job. But I'm so happy Liu Lin got this. I should have said something because when I was thinking about who should play Liu Kang, he's the first guy that came to mind for me before they announced it. And then they have Joe Taslim as Sub-Zero. I don't know who Joe Taslim is, but looks like
he's been on watch for a Marvel character.
Sub-Zero's definitely a fan favorite.
Namor. That's who.
Really?
He's on the wish list, I think.
I don't think they're done casting yet. I really think it's a missed opportunity to have like a Johnny Cage character or even a Sonya Blade, and even a Scorpion. So I don't think they're done casting, but as you can tell, I'm pretty stoked. Yeah,
I mean, like you said, a lot more about than I will say probably anyone on our team. I know of names of people off the top of I'm familiar with Sub-Zero, I'm familiar with Scorpion, and I know of Raiden, but like other than that, I don't really... I don't know too much about it, but I mean, I dig it, and people seem to be on board with the cast so far. I haven't heard people like freak out about anything. I mean, the Ludi Lin was a big one for a lot of people, I think.
Yes, I'm so happy for him. That's a big role for him. Liu Kang's the main character of Mortal Kombat.
Okay, see, that I don't know that.
Yeah, Liu Kang's the main character of Mortal Kombat.
But yeah, so we still have definitely some time before it comes out, 2021.
Yeah.
So
I'm just glad we're getting it. Did you ever see that online miniseries that was made? This was like, man, almost 10 years ago.
No.
It was like 6 or 7 years ago. It was pretty awesome. It was like basically like I think a fan made it, but it was pretty well produced, but it wasn't like theatrical. Like it wasn't cinematic. And that was kind of R-ish rated. So yeah, there's so many cool things that they can do with this, to be honest.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. I know a lot of people were excited mainly because they said fatalities will play a big part, and that's obviously a big part of Mortal Kombat. But yeah, it sounds like it's the ball is definitely started rolling for this, and it's picking up steam. I think Ludi Lin was the newest one cast. So that was a pretty big name added.
If you know the Johnny Cage character and you've seen the original film, give me a Zac Efron as Johnny Cage. I think that would be freaking awesome. He's like a cocky douche, like kind of movie star type guy.
Oh, I think I know who that one is. Okay, well, that would be pretty fun.
And I think Zac Efron would play that perfectly. But he's a great fighter. He's kind of like this martial artist who... went into acting, but he does action films, so, and he has some of the best moments in the original film, so I would love to see something like that.
Perfect. All right, so that's our little quick thoughts on Mortal Kombat, but now we are hitting the big topic, which is, it has been announced that, as of right now, Marvel, Disney, and Sony have decided to part ways when it comes to Spider-Man, which is absolutely devastating to anyone that likes, loves, follows Spider-Man in the MCU. The world has gone ablaze since this has happened. Twitter's basically exploded. Petitions, fans, Facebook, everything has just erupted from this. And rightfully, I cannot say that word. Rightfully so, because Tom Holland is supposed to be basically like the it guy for the MCU moving forward.
Yes. And he's Spider-Man.
He's Spider-Man, and they just dropped a bomb on us at the end of Far From Home. So this is potentially devastating for the MCU, because you now have to right a wrong if he, in fact, isn't going to be a part of it anymore, which is almost unfathomable. But yeah, so Tom Holland has stayed extremely mum.
Which he should.
Which, yes, I completely agree.
But he did apparently do a passive-aggressive move.
So the one thing that people are saying is that the day before the news broke, he unfollowed on Instagram, Sony's Instagram account, which is definitely, if that's true...
If it's true, it's a sign of something.
That's a sign of he's not very pleased with Sony. But the report is that, of course, as with everything in the world, it seems to be money at the root of all evil.
And none of this is official, right?
No.
I honestly believe that it's going to get resolved and they'll figure it out. I honestly believe that's where we're going to end up at.
I think the uproar is going to push Disney, I think, more than Sony. Sony, I feel like they think they're pretty cocky right now with how well they're doing, but cockily blind, if you will, because Sony basically came out and said Kevin Feige's been helping with our stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't deny it.
No.
And especially, look, their last two films outside of the MCU, Venom and Spider-Verse, did very well, critically and financially.
Yeah, so the report is circulating that Disney asks for 30% finance from Sony.
Yeah, and it was originally 50, and I did a short video the other day on our channel, and I talked about, but there's been much more development since then. Yeah.
So originally it was thought that they were asking for 50% of the finance, which, I mean, Marvel pretty much, or Disney, pretty much did, I would say, most, if not almost all of the work for Spider-Man, and Sony kind of just collected a check. I'm sure there's obviously more.
Well, they definitely, but I think creatively, I believe Kevin Feige and Marvel treated it as one of their own films.
Yeah.
With Sony heavily involved.
Yeah.
But I think, if I'm not mistaken, Sony paid for 100% of the budget of those movies, of Homecoming and Far From Home.
Well, they made it back and then some.
Oh, absolutely. So, that's why they're like, we're good.
Yeah. I mean, Far From Home was the first Spider-Man movie to break 1 million. And there's been 6 before that, 7 if you count Spider-Verse. None of them have crossed the billion until Far From Home.
You know why? Because it's part of the MCU.
Exactly.
Because it was coming off of Endgame.
Yep.
Because Tom Holland's the best Spider-Man of all time. Just all of these things incorporated.
Yep.
And I don't think they seem to understand that.
Yeah. So it's definitely a big factor. As I said, money seems to be the motivation behind most of this. What is interesting, though, is that a part of Tom Holland's contract, he doesn't have to play Spider-Man anymore. He could say, you know what, you guys, I don't want to be a part of it if I'm not a part of the MCU, and he could walk, essentially, which would be very interesting because, I mean, he's arguably the most popular Spider-Man so far, next to Tobey Maguire's.
Yeah, I mean, people love him, and it's being reported that in his contract, the only thing left is that he has an option to choose to play the character one more time for a Sony-produced movie.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what that means specifically.
Sounds like he has an opt-out clause.
And I guarantee
like
you, if it depends though. If it's like if he's getting paid well, maybe he'll do it. But I guarantee you, if he's out of the MCU, once Tom Holland can, he walks.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
And he's made enough money. He has enough star power. He's gonna be in. Is that Uncharted movie a Sony film? It is.
It is a Sony film, and they just lost their director for it today. So
man, he probably already signed the contracts though to play, so he kind of has to.
I don't know. That movie's been pushed around.
That's gonna hurt.
They just lost their second director.
That's gonna
today.
hurt that film too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there's a lot on the line. So we also know that from what we've heard, again, all of this is speculation. No one's really came out and flat out said anything. Sony kind of did a half-assed tweet yesterday, but what we're hearing is that the Sony Pictures chairman Tim Rothman believes that the studio has learned everything they need from Kevin Feige's playbook to produce Spider-Man movies of their own. They're on some drugs.
That's hilarious.
If that's true. Because this guy is a god among men. He is making something that has never been seen before, and he is absolutely killing the game. And to think that you can just easily replicate that, you're on something.
What Kevin Feige has within him as a producer, as a storyteller, as a creator, you can't teach.
No.
You can't learn.
No.
That's something you have in you already.
Mm-hmm.
You can take, tips from him or try to do it like he does it, but it's not going to happen. And who knows? There's a possibility they go their own ways. They make great Spider-Man movies going forward. They're successful. That could happen. It really could. But I think it's best in Kevin Feige's hands. And I just think it's overall beneficial for both of them to have Spider-Man in the MCU. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that Into the Spider-Verse was flippin' brilliant. It was amazing. Arguably one of the best animated movies of the last, I don't even know how long. I love that movie. Who knows how much Kevin Feige had involved in it? I feel like he probably didn't have too much of a say in the animated world, but Venom did really good, but it wasn't like this, like, oh my god, Venom's amazing.
No. Yeah, so when I said, like, those movies did well, so Venom did well financially, and Spider-Verse did well critically. So Venom made over $800 million, but it was kind of mixed critic-wise, and overall, even us, we were like, it was all right, but it had a lot of potential, right?
Yeah, I wasn't out buying
Spider-Verse was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, should have been nominated for Best Picture, amazing.
Yeah.
And it didn't make that much money. I think it barely made profit. So it's weird how that works, but either way, both of them are a win for Sony.
Yeah.
They are.
I think that Sony made a smart play by saying Andy Serkis is going to direct the second one before this news leaked, because that caught people by surprise and like, oh, he's going to direct Venom 2? And I mean, it puts a little bit more interest in it, but if this actually doesn't get repaired, there is going to be heavy backlash on this. People are going to be salty.
There already is. I don't remember a news story in recent memory that so many casual people are just bringing up to me randomly.
Yeah.
Like, a friend the other day who they like movies, but they're not, like, in the news cycles and all that stuff like we are. And they asked me, oh, did you hear about Spider-Man? And then in a group chat, somebody who doesn't really, same thing, not really involved like we are, talking about Spider-Man in a group chat. It's just everybody's talking about it.
Yep.
And usually movie news stories don't make regular, news headlines or have regular people talking about them, but this one definitely does in a negative way.
Yeah, it is taking the world ablaze. I mean, I work at a school, and it's all the kids are talking about. They are furious
Wow.
about it, because that's their Spider-Man. That's I mean, that is their Spider-Man. Just like I mean, I don't know. I can't off the top of my head think of who.
I mean, when I was a kid, it was Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, exactly. Tobey Maguire was our
and we didn't know anything else back then, so we were like, "That's Spider-Man."
Yeah.
And for me now, it's Tom Holland. Tom Holland is
too.
Spider-Man. He's the best, and it's just I get it. Sony has the right to do this. They do, and they really do, and it's no one can take that away from them. But it's just smart business because, you know, if you would have done this back in 1995, people would have heard about it, but it wouldn't be such a big deal.
Yeah.
It wouldn't spread like wildfire because there was no Instagram or there was no social media, right? Nowadays, there's going to be this negative stigma around Sony because of this.
Oh, 100%.
And it's not all Sony's fault, though.
No, it's not.
So the deal's up, right?
Yeah.
So now they have a right to renegotiate.
Yeah.
Depending on who you ask, Disney could be asking for too much. They want to go from 5% to 30%. That's a huge jump.
That is a huge
on a movie that Sony's going to be distributing. Marvel are just producers.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we don't know everything. I mean, we don't. This could have been I mean, I find it hard to believe, but this could have been the first, if not maybe just the second time they've talked, and then just been like, okay, well, for right now, we haven't figured something out. But I mean, it sounds pretty bad, but at the same time, I feel like a lot of people are remaining optimistic about it. I know I am. That people have been like, how are you not just going rage? I'm like, Disney's not going to just let this go. Like, they're not going to just be like, okay, they've got too much on the line with the MCU. People will be very upset on both
Spider-Man
ends.
is in the top 3 most popular superheroes of all time.
Oh, 100%.
And I don't think Marvel wants that out of their MCU, especially since they don't have Iron Man anymore.
Yeah.
Who was, whether it's him or Cap or both of them, the poster boy of the MCU.
Yeah. It'll be interesting what they do. It's kind of ironic that this news broke right before D23 was about to happen, or is about to happen, I should say. It starts tomorrow.
That is interesting. I didn't even think about that.
And apparently, what's funny is around, I think they're hosting at the Anaheim Convention Center. Apparently, there's posters and signs and stuff everywhere that has Spider-Man's picture all over it, which is kind of funny and ironic because it's literally this whole convention's about Disney, and they now have zero to do with Spider-Man. But it's definitely jarring because this could be a big stain on the MCU.
So the thing is, all the stuff we talked about, the contract are all reports, right? That's not Sony or Disney coming out officially and saying these things. I have a hard time believing, because Tom Holland loves being in the Avengers, loves being in the MCU. He's always talking about, I want to cross over with Doctor Strange and all this stuff.
He said, I want to play it till I can't walk anymore.
So I have a hard time believing Sony would make this move without having Tom Holland locked into like a 10-film contract.
It's ballsy.
If he was locked into a 10-film contract, whether or not Spider-Man was in the MCU,
he wouldn't have a choice.
Sony has all the power.
Yeah.
If not, I guarantee you, I just get this feeling that Tom Holland's the type of guy at this point who would say, all right, you're going to pull that, I'm walking. But like I said, it's not all Sony's fault. Think about it. If you're Sony, if you're in charge, are you going to just say, all right, cool, yeah, Disney, we'll give you 30%?
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it from Sony's perspective. It's not, we can't all just gang up on Sony.
Yeah, and it's very
Marvel
true.
Marvel needs to take a step back and say, okay, how about 10%? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
and if that's what's keeping it from happening, then it's Marvel's fault.
Yeah, I mean, Disney, we know they're not hurting for money. So, like, if it comes down to it, they need to just suck it up, in my opinion, and just take whatever loss they're going to get for not having the 30% that they want. Because at the end of the day, they're still going to make billions off even him just appearing for a little bit in a movie or a team up or something. So, I mean, all they have to do is make pretty much one Marvel movie and it'll replace all the money that they're not getting from the 30% of Spider-Man.
Like, yes, if you take, what's a character that we're getting upcoming? I don't know, just for argument's sake, like, let's say you're doing Doctor Strange 3, right? And you say, okay, Doctor Strange 3 is a team up with Spider-Man. That goes from a $700, $800 million film to a $1 billion film.
Well, look at how many people were trying to get Deadpool and Spider-Man together. Can you imagine the money that Deadpool and Spider-Man would pull?
They have so much history in the comics.
They would make billions. That movie would explode. Ryan Reynolds and Tom Holland and Deadpool and Spider-Man.
That would be amazing.
It would be insane. So, yes, Disney does at some point need to just say, like, cut the losses, whatever, and we just make do with the Spider-Man they have. I honestly, in my opinion, think that they should just say, all right, fine, we'll take X amount of money like you guys want, but we're not helping you anymore with Venom. We're not helping you anymore with Spider-Verse. We are strictly Spider-Man in the MCU, and that's it. And I don't see anything wrong with that, because like I said, Disney's not hurting for money. They're fine. They can put out a single Marvel movie and they're good. So they're saying Feige's being overworked because he's helping them too much. Then cut it off. Venom doesn't need to be part of the MCU. He doesn't need to work his way. Hopefully the character eventually would be, but we don't need to worry about his movie. Worry about Spider-Man in the MCU. That's it. Move on. End of story. I don't think Disney's done playing. I think Disney's hoping that the uproar will push Sony a little bit.
It could be just a chess move, right?
Yeah.
Disney says, give us 30%. Apparently Sony didn't even counteroffer, but all this backlash is going to happen, and now Sony's more prone to give them more.
Yeah.
So I think it's a chess move. I think it's going to all work itself out in the end, to be honest. But something I talked about in my video, if you're Sony and you're pulling Spider-Man out of the MCU and you have Tom Holland, let's say Tom Holland agrees to come back, how the hell do you narratively explain that he's no longer in that world?
You don't. You have to create a whole new
Exactly. Spider-Man. That's why I said in my video it's kind of going to have to be a soft reboot.
Yeah. Because
you can't just say that none of that is just continue the story and not mention anything in the MCU.
Yeah. You
can't do that unless somehow you say, oh, he went into a different dimension, reality, and now he's in Venom's reality. But then now Aunt May from his reality lost him, and you can't do all of that.
I think
there's no Happy anymore. Happy was amazing in Far From Home, and that dynamic between them two and Happy and his aunt, it's just you're gonna lose all that because Happy's an MCU character.
Yeah.
You don't get Happy anymore if you.
I think that
take him away from the MCU.
They would hope for a Spider-Man cinematic universe, but people are not going to be down for that. It's the Marvel cinematic universe or bust at this point for Spider-Man, I think, and hopefully he finds his way back to Marvel and or I should say Disney MCU. But like we said, it's still early. We don't know all the facts, all the details. It's just a hard. Well, it's a little bit more than a rumor, but it's a hard. it's an upsetting story, we'll say.
Yes.
But hopefully things will work out. Jake retweeted, I want to say it was Campia, said, like, what if at D23 they were just like, psych, here's our... I could
totally see that.
Yeah, so hopefully...
Or they just, maybe it was real and they announced that they worked it out.
Yeah, so, I mean...
Because
here's
really,
to hoping.
Think about this. Right before D23, this drops.
Yeah.
And now, what is everyone talking about?
Oh, 100%.
Spider-Man in the MCU.
It would be the greatest...
And now, if D23 is like, wait a minute, here is the next Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 3, with Deadpool in it. If you announce it at D23,
it would be...
Or Deadpool 3 with Spider-Man in it.
It would be the greatest, like... advertising.
Watch they bring Ryan Reynolds and Tom Holland out on stage.
Stop
together.
Giving me chills. It's making me upset. But
let's go to D23.
I know, right? So hopefully things will work out. But that's our little rant and as much information that we've come across. But so that's our topic for Nerd Nation. I didn't even say it was volume or issue number 3, not 103. But yeah, for our third episode. Go ahead and let us know what your thoughts are regarding the Mortal Kombat movie coming soon in 2021, and of course the news that Spider-Man is no longer in the MCU as of right now, hopefully. But for Jacob and Brian, we're here for Apocaflix Movies. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Check us out on iTunes. And hit that like and leave us a comment what you think. Go ahead and sound off on either of the topics, how pissed off you are about Spider-Man supposedly not going to be in the MCU anymore. We would love to have a conversation about it with you. But until next time, we will see you guys later.
Hey everyone, Jacob Bartley here. Thanks for watching. If you want to check out something similar from Apocaflix Movies, click this video up here. If you want something a little bit different, check out this video down here. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to Apocaflix Movies and let us know your thoughts in the comments section. We always love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.